Yo, what up, guys? Wanted to do a whole video kind of covering the whole Slumber Party Massacre franchise. I'm reviewing all the Scream Factory Blu-rays for it, but figure condense it into one video. Just because why not? A little easier. And for people that want to hear it, they can just go to one video for it. But there'll be quick reviews for all three, so it's not going to be a crazy long video. But I just wanted to give this little franchise some love here, because believe it or not, Part 3, this was a first time watch for me as Part 3. I had seen Part 1 and 2, but I had barely remembered them. They were on VHS when I saw them last. But the first one's Slumber Party Massacre 1. This Blu-ray got released a few years ago from Scream Factory, and Shout Factory actually released the whole collection on DVD years ago. But this franchise is kind of famous for being, all of them are directed by female directors, and they try to have these little meanings in it for feminism, blah blah blah, but I don't really worry about that. I look at these as solely horror movies. I'm not trying to dig deeper into little meanings of, oh, the drill got, cut in half here, this means this and that. Nah, I'm just going to pure entertainment value in horror movies. But essentially it's this group of girls at this high school. They're having a slumber party, and there's a new girl, and they invite her, but they're kind of bitches, so she doesn't end up going, and she has to end up babysitting her younger sister. And her younger sister really wants to go to the slumber party, and but they don't. But they're kind of just like spying on them, just they're reading Playgirl magazine, all they're doing what girls do, I guess. But the main high school girls are having this slumber party, and there's these two dudes who are kind of peering in. They wanna watch what's going on or whatever. And of course, it's an '80s horror movie, so their idea of a slumber party is dancing naked and doing. I think this is the one where they rip open a pillow and they're just throwing the feathers from a pillow all over the place, and they really trash the room. They're champagne. They're just. I can't remember if that's the first one or the second one with the champagne, but it's like her father's house or whatever. I think that's the second one, so I'll wait till that one. But anyways, there's this dude. He kind of kills this maintenance lady at the school and steals her van, and he has this big drill, and he goes around. He looks really 80s, real sleazy 80s. It's really cool. This movie could have only been made in the 80s. Like, the look of it just screams 80s cheese. The outfits and all that they wear, the hair, it's just pure 80s. But this dude, he has like a denim vest on and all that, and he looks crazy. But he basically just follows these girls to the slumber party, and he just wants to kill them all. And that's basically his motive. And there's some cool cat and mouse type things in with it. And it's a really short movie. It's literally an hour and 15 minutes. So it goes by quick. And what I like about it is it's true to its name. It's not like trying to give you this complex story. It's literally just a slumber party massacre. So you're kind of watching the build up for like the first 40 minutes, and then all of a sudden there's the titular massacre. And I just thought it was really well done. I liked a lot of the deaths. I liked the drill. I thought the girls did a good job as far as the acting goes. Nothing was really took me out of it. Like, none of it was really too bad. Now, as far as this actual release goes, the Blu-ray picture looked really good. This thing, full of special features, got new HD transfer, Sleepless Nights, the making of the Slumber Party Massacre. And that's just like the first half hour of the feature-length documentary. They only include the part, obviously, for part 1 on this. It has an audio commentary with the director and a theatrical trailer. So, yeah, this came out in '82. I definitely recommend the Slumber Party Massacre. It's a really solid slasher film. This always was kind of looked at as second tier when compared to Freddy and Jason and all that. But like they said in the documentary, it was just as popular. This sold or rented more copies just as much as Freddy and all them. So this was as known as the big ones, but they were never put on the same scale as the high heavy hitter ones. And which leads me to the double feature Scream Factory released, I think last year or the year before maybe, of Slumber Party Massacre 2 and 3. And part 2 is a really interesting movie. It's kind of has a similar setup, but it is where the older sister, who was kind of didn't want to go to the slumber party in the first one, she ends up going to this mental hospital, and the younger sister, it's a few years older, she's grown up, she has friends, blah blah blah, and she wants to go to this slumber party, and same thing ensues, but she keeps having these dreams of this dude. You can kind of see him. He has like a leather jacket, looks like Fonzie and John Travolta put together, but he is really over the top. He's like dancing and singing, and he has these like leather pants, and it's really ridiculous. It's one of the most cheesiest things I've seen, but it adds to a lot of the charm. Like, it's a really fun movie, but it's so stupid. He has this guitar, which you can see on the cover, has this big ass drill at the end, and it just looked badass but ridiculous at the same time. And with the you can see the drill kind of wobbling a little bit with it and stuff. And his performance is really over the top. He's like making kissing kind of things to the camera and all that. And sorry about that glare there, but he yeah, it's just really goofy, over the top. I did not enjoy it as much as the first one. I think it's humorous, or some parts that made me laugh. I like the sets almost feel like a porno, kinda. Like, there's just really cheap, and when the dude, when you see him, there's just a lot of fog and everything. It just has a really cheap vibe to it, but it has a cool showdown in like a lumber yard at the end. And I did really enjoy Slumber Party Massacre 2. I think the transfer looked really good. This was also directed by a female, but yeah, the whole soundtrack is like rockabilly music. It's just a really strange movie. I really don't know what they were thinking doing that whole thing. But yeah, I'm going to leave it at that. Transfer looked good. The special features, it has the feature-length documentary of Sleepless Nights. So this one, it includes the part of part 1, but it also gives you like a half hour of Slumber Party Massacre 2 and like 20 minutes, kind of little documentary on Slumber Party Massacre 3. Now, the other special features for this is it has audio commentary with the director, which is always my favorite special features. Theatrical trailer, still gallery. But the big thing on this release too is it includes the because it has the original 76 R-rated version and an extended 85-minute unrated cut. And now they splice in like standard definition scenes to make it the full unrated cut. So it's like Silent Night, Deadly Night, where you have the majority of its HD looking good, but there's really terrible quality inserts added to it. But it's cool to have, so that's not a big deal breaker for me. Now, the Slumber Party Massacre 3, oddly enough, it's my favorite one out of the 3. And I expected it to be worse. Like, my buddy was telling me he didn't like it, so I was kind of expecting it to be worse, but I loved it. That's one I just watched last night. It was filmed in 1990. I think Roger Corman was just trying to get a little extra money from the franchise, because slashers were kind of going out of popularity. And Roger Corman was the producer for all these. Now, it starts off with this group of girls not related to the first two's family at all, but they're on the beach chilling, hanging out, whatever. There's this really creepy dude who's like just sitting on the beach staring at him all creepy like, and you're there to there's a little minor spoilers here, but you're led there to believe he's the killer, and he follows them home, and come to find out she also has this really creepy neighbor who's like walking around her house when she gets there, and she's wanting to know what the hell's going on with that. So he's kind of a red herring. So it is a whodunit. Like, they add these little red herrings, which is kind of different from the first two, because you know who the killer is off rip in the first two. Now, I just like the overall house. I like the girls better in this one. Literally the same story as the first one, pretty much. Like I said, they had some red herrings, and it is a whodunit. And they add some little backstory to the killer in this one too. Like, there's some weird child abuse stuff. Just like, it was really weird. He has the same drill as the first one. They do away with the guitar drill. There's a lot of scenes in high def I've noticed though where the drill isn't spinning. When you can hear it spinning and he's killing someone, you'll see it not spinning. So that kind of takes me out of it, but it adds to the charm of it. There's a really badass death I want to point out with like a for sale sign in front of a house. This black dude gets impaled with a for sale sign. It's really badass. It felt more darker. It just felt more realistic. It felt like the 90s. I like the whole atmosphere of it. I want to point out too, it was filmed on location in Venice Beach, and like there's a scene where this girl's like walking to her car, and there's a bunch of graffiti on the walls. You could tell it's like real, probably a really bad place because there's some real like gang stuff there. Like I think there was a tag for the Playboy Crips, which was a big Crip sector in the 90s and 80s and stuff. That was like a real OG Crip gang. They were there, and then there was some other Crip tags and stuff, and you know, there's a lot of Crips here in Sarasota and stuff, and so you kind of like once you know that lingo and you kind of know what to look for, it's like they were really in like a bad neighborhood filming this, and they kind of go in it too in the documentary how kind of sketchy it was on the street, but it was really cool seeing that. You know, I just like the whole red herring thing. I like the whodunit aspect of it. It had some good gore. I like the fact it went way more serious than even the first two. And I just overall really dug Slumber Party Massacre 3. If I was going to watch another one, just one, it would definitely be that one. This one includes the original 75-minute rated cut, and then the extended 87-minute with inserts like the part 2 theatrical trailer and still gallery. So yeah, this is definitely a franchise worth picking up. It's a really decent slasher franchise. It's a whole lot of fun. You get insane amount of nudity. There's just every party they find an excuse to dance naked for 2 or 3 songs. And just there's a lot of 80s hair, a lot of 80s outfits. It's a really fun time. I wish I could have saw this in the 80s, like on VHS, like back in the day when they first came out. You know, part 2 would have been really disappointing when it first came out. But yeah, those are really cool to have in the collection. And that's just my quick review. Well, not really quick, it was like 12 minutes, but that was my review on the Slumber Party franchise. Like I said, they're definitely worth picking up. They never go down in price, though, I've noticed. Like, I think Slumber Party Massacre 1 is always like $18. I never see it lower on Amazon. That's what I got it for. And then the double feature, I've never seen it below $20. Like maybe once or twice I've seen it for $18 maybe. But yeah, that double feature never seems to go down. So yeah, definitely worth. I think they're one of the Scream Factory's better releases. I hope they release some more slashers like that in the future. There's been a whole lot of problems with them recently, which I will go to in on the podcast we are recording tonight with BDG reviews. So there's that, but appreciate you guys listening. I'm going to try to do another like franchise review soon where I just do them all in one video. Seems like a cool idea. I don't know what franchise I'd do, but yeah, I'll leave it at that. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Peace.